Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Arabic Mike. I'm not an Arab, but I learn Arabic, I speak Arabic, and I practice Arabic, and I teach Arabic. And today we're going to be looking at something which I've wanted to talk about for a while, and that's the differences between colloquial Arabic, i.e. slang, and fusha Arabic, like formal Arabic, which you'd hear on the news, on the TV, newspapers, etc., etc. Now, the clip that I've chosen to discuss this topic with is this one here, which you can see up there. Now, it's about a Filipino boy who supposedly can only speak fluent Arabic. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but he certainly does speak a little bit of Arabic. It's not great, but it's pretty good. Anyway, I'm not criticizing him, he's only 7 years old. So, let's go ahead and see what he's saying. So it starts off with him speaking a little bit of Arabic. He's very sweet, he's very cute. You know, I can see why this video is done very well. By the way, this channel, Al Arabiya English, it's a good channel for keeping up with a bit of news about the Middle East, etc., etc. And anyway, the two bits I'm focusing on in this video is here, at about 43 seconds, where his friend speaks, and then a little bit later, about 1:11, 1:12, when his mum speaks in Tagalog, Filipino language, but it's translated into Fusha. So I'm going to focus on those two chapters, those two sections. This first bit here with the boy and then his mum. I'll actually do a second video which you can also watch, which just translates the whole thing if you're interested. I've got it all written down. But these are the two bits I'm focused on. So let's just go ahead and listen to this boy and then listen to his mum. So I'm just going to play it. It's not that long.
بتكلم عن صداقتنا أنا وعثمان وكيف يعني نقضي أوقاتنا معا ويعني إحنا دائما أنا وياه يعني زي ما تقول نروح لما الحديقة يعني كذا نلعب سياكل أو كورة يعني والصراحة أنا أعتبره زي أخوي.
Now let's go and listen to the translation of his mother's speech and see how it compares. Maybe it sounds different. I think it does.
أنا سعيدة جدا. بعض الأطفال هنا لا يستطيعون التكلم بالعربية، لكن ابني يفضل التكلم بالعربية. في بعض الأحيان أتكلم معه باللغة الإنجليزية أو اللغة الفلبينية، لكنه يقول لي لا أفهم ما تتحدثين عنه، وأنا أقول له لا بد أن تتكلم اللغة الإنجليزية أو اللغة الفلبينية لأنك قد تواجه مشاكل بالمطار.
Now, did you hear the difference between those two things? That boy speaking is very, very colloquial. He's adding lots of ya'nis. He says بتكلم instead of أتكلم. He says سياكل instead of دراجة. He says إحنا instead of نحن. He uses some terms which, as an Arabic speaker like myself, you can kind of hear the difference. Now, maybe you're not so far in your journey of learning Arabic. Maybe you're just beginning to appreciate the fact that there are different accents, different dialects. You're thinking, oh, what is Fusha, what is dialect? Well, this is basically a good summary, which is why I've chosen this clip, is a good summary of the differences in the sounds between the Fusha and the colloquial. Okay, now let's bring up this Word document here. This is actually the whole dialogue, which I'll go through in a separate video. But right now, I just want to focus on this bit here, which is what the boy says, and then this bit here, which is what the mum says. So let's just read this through. I think that would be a good place to start. Let's just read this through. He says, أنا بتكلم عن صديقاتنا أنا وعثمان. So I'm speaking. If this was Fusha, he'd say أنا أتكلم. He'd say أنا أتكلم عن صديقاتنا. That wouldn't really change. About our friendship. أنا وعثمان. I'm talking about the friendship between myself and Uthman. This Filipino boy's got an Arabic name. We'll come on to that later. وكيف يعني نقضي أوقاتنا معا. And how we spend our time together. وكيف يعني نقضي أوقاتنا معا. Again, that's pretty good. He's done pretty well there. He's speaking quite good Arabic. And how, يعني, I mean, you wouldn't get that in a translation. I just said it there. I mean, you wouldn't get that in a translation because it's more colloquial, it's spoken, it's not written. But يعني is a common thing. People say it all the time. نقضي أوقاتنا معا. We spend our time together. And then he says يعني again ويعني إحنا دائما وزي ما نقول. Now this is quite slang here. إحنا دائما وزي ما نقول. This is like, and you know, as people say, or like I mean, he's kind of like filling in the gaps here. If you can give a really good translation to this, then please do give that in the comments. But to me, it kind of means, you know, it's looking for reassurance, as in, you know what I mean? In English we say, you know what I mean? Do you get me? In it. It would say things like that to kind of look for reassurance and just to fill the gaps when you're speaking. You'd never write something like this, but you would definitely say it. نروح للحديقة يعني نروح للحديقة. Now this again is colloquial. نروح. روح is a slang way of saying we go. In Fusha you say نذهب. Now people don't really use the word أذهب, نذهب, تذهب. We don't really say that in slang Arabic, in colloquial Arabic. You're more likely to hear روح, ريحت, أنا أروح, بتروح, بروح. Something like that. So روح means go in slang. In Arabic it's ذهب, ذهب. أنا أذهب إلى السوق, أنا أذهب إلى المول, أنا أذهب إلى البيت. And you wouldn't really hear people say ذهب spokenly. It just wouldn't really happen. And then he goes on to say كذا نلعب سياكل. Now again, كذا is like a filler. It's like, it means like. It's like. It means like. It's kind of short for هكذا, which means like, مثل, like. نلعب سياكل. لعب, this is to play. لعب, to play. نلعب, the noon makes it into we play. So كذا نلعب سياكل. سياكل is slang for bikes or cycling. So in Fusha you say دراجة, and in here we're saying سياكل. نلعب سياكل أو كرة. Again, كرة, very, very slang. So in Fusha you say كرة القدم. كرة with a ka, and then قدم with a qaf. أو كرة القدم. So he says أو كرة يعني, he says يعني again, يعني وصراحة أنا أعتبره زي أخوي. يعني وصراحة أنا أعتبره زي أخوي. And this is good, yeah. وصراحة أنا أعتبره زي أخوي. And to be honest, I consider him a brother. Like he's like a brother to me. That's what he's saying there, which is very sweet and nice. But why not? You know, why not? الصراحة in Fusha this would be translated as في الحقيقة or حقا, something like that. حقا with a ha, qa, and then alif tanween. حقا في الحقيقة, to be to tell the truth truthfully. حقا, something like that. والصراحة أنا أعتبره زي أخوي. Okay, so that's basically a gist of what the boy's saying. Now let's compare that with what the mother's saying, or at least translated. أنا سعيدة جدا بهذا الأطفال هنا.
I'm not sure.
So that is the boy speaking. That's the boy speaking colloquial slang, and it's very different to Fusha. And to be honest, when you first hear something like that and you've been learning Fusha, it can be very confusing, and you'll definitely notice, hang on a minute, I mean, I know that's Arabic, but there's something funny going on there. I'm not quite entirely sure what it is, but it sounds a bit strange. Now let's compare that to what the mother is saying. أنا سعيدة جدا بهذا الأطفال هنا لا يستطيعون التكلم بالعربية لكن ابني هنا يفضل يتكلم بالعربية. So yeah, that's just formal. أنا سعيد جدا. I'm very happy that because most of the children here don't speak لا يستطيعون التكلم بالعربية. They don't speak Arabic. I'm not going to spend too long on the translation here because there's another video for that, but point being is that this is all just Fusha. Nothing confusing here, لكن بالعربية. Very good. في بعض الأحيان sometimes أتكلم معه اللغة. Sometimes I talk to him in English or Philippine language, Tagalog. ¿Cómo está Poicoyo, by the way? لكنه يقول لي, he says to me, I don't understand what you're saying. And I say to him, you must learn to speak English language or Philippine language because لأنك قد تواصل مشاكل بالمطار. You might face problems in the airport. So basically his responsible and quite sensible mother is saying, look, it's great you speak Arabic, but like you've got to learn a second language because you're not an Arab citizen. You're going to be traveling to England, maybe to the Philippines, to English-speaking countries. You need to learn a second language because if you can only speak Arabic and then you go home to the Philippines, then that's going to be a problem for you. You're going to find it quite tough in the airport, fil matar. So that's basically it, to be honest. I really just wanted to talk about the differences between colloquial Arabic and formal Arabic and give you a bit of an introduction and a bit of an insight into the slight subtle differences between these two. When I first saw this video, the first thing I thought of wasn't, oh wow, it's a Filipino kid who can speak English and he's really cute and he kind of talks like this. But actually I thought about the differences between the colloquial, where the boy was speaking بتكلم عن صداقاتنا أو كورة ويعني صراحة أنا أعتبره زي أخوي, that kind of thing. And then the fusha English. أنا سعيدة جدا بهذا الأطفال هنا لا يستطيعون التكلم بالعربية, that kind of thing. So it's an interesting video. I hope you find this useful. You can see more videos there and there. I'm Arabic Mike. You can subscribe over that way. And I hope to see you again back here very soon. Until then, bye bye. Ma'a salama.